Welcome you to my kitchen. I'm doing an impromptu live today for the public group. So I'm going to be showing you how I'm going to put together a traditional Christmas wreath with red, white, green, and gold because those remain ever popular. So if you're always curious about what to make that should sell, trending towards the popular colors like red, white, and green, or even more of the rustic colors. So let me go ahead and make sure I am live. I think I am. So I should be able to pop in here momentarily. Let's see. Go, 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 go. I really hate the Kindles. There it goes. We just popped in the live. So hi Brenda, or hi Barbara. It's just me today. So this week, Steve's actually in Boston. So I have to be continuing to stock my shop continuously with Christmas because in about, what is it, like 18 days or so, I will be moving from Christmas into the more everyday wreaths and then slowly starting to work on, I already have Mardi Gras, Valentine's Day. So it seems weird that in the month of December I'm going to be kind of changing things up, but hopefully if you plan it right, you have enough inventory in your shop to carry you those initial couple weeks into the month of December, and that you have a wide variety of not only designs but a wide variety of price points to hit every single customer's budget. So I always like to make sure that I have some lower cost items that people can still purchase without breaking their bank. So tonight we're just doing the traditional red, white, and green. And like I said, it's just an impromptu. I was putting this together and I thought, well, why not kind of throw this out there and see what you guys think. So bear with me if we have broadcast interruptions because our Mevo's Ethernet port is no longer functioning, but everybody likes the picture quality and the sound quality of the Mevo, so we're working on a solution to that problem. Hopefully we'll have it remedied by Friday. So I thought I'd put this one together so that you guys can see. So hi Dawn, hi Jenna, hi Donna, hi Edie, hi Peggy. So yeah, I feel for you people in the Midwest all the way to the East Coast. I think you guys are hitting an unusual rapid temperature drop, because I'm seeing people on the Facebook news feed saying that their temperatures dropped from like 70 to 30 and now everyone's on with their fireplace. So definitely missing that cold weather. We're another 80-degree day here in California. Feels like Florida. So let me go over our materials real quick. 16-inch work frame wreath with the red tinsel ties. You can get this at Hobby Lobby. Hobby Lobby right now has them on sale in their seasonal section for half off. So if you like them and you like working with them, pick up a couple of them with it being 50% off. It's not that big of a price difference. So it just kind of gives you an idea of how to work with a work frame versus our standard Dollar Tree frame. We are using 3 different color Deco mesh. They're all 10 inches, all cut to 30-inch pieces. We're going to be ruffling them in red, the white with a silver metallic in it, and then also it's called a wide foil metallic green. So those are going to be our base colors. Then we're going to come in with 3 different color 2.5-inch ribbon, which is the Harlequins. Also, your traditional Christmas plaid. This came from Craft Outlet. Had to think about that. And then this, I don't know what you'd call it. It's like a diagonal Christmas print. This came from Lowe's, believe it or not. So these are going to be our 2.5-inch ribbon that will all be cut to 14-inch pieces. And then our 1.5 inch, which is the diagonal horizontal, came from Sam's. And the red and the green lame The green lame came from Hobby Lobby, and then the red lame came from Craft Outlet. And then adding to our bow, we're gonna come in with this holly, because on our Merry Christmas sign, we've got those little sprigs of holly. So I want to incorporate that by adding it to the bow mix, because it's not a true white, it's got that natural color, but it still has the gold. So I think I've covered all of our supplies. We might be coming in, depends on how everything lays out, to add in some red and green and white ornaments. I have a wide variety of different sizes. So we'll go ahead and start putting this together, and we're just gonna kind of go around the inside part of our wreath, and we're gonna do ruffles. And the reason why I did 30-inch ruffles is because this isn't a overly, well, it's got a good quality deco mesh, but when you work with a 2-inch elevated rail, sometimes you need a little bit of thickness. So we can either double up and add multiple colors, or you can just take one piece, a really long piece, and then just make sure that that kind of gives you the coverage that you're looking for. So I'm just going to kind of go around. I've already started with my red. There are, let me think, 7 ties on the inside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then there's 9 on the bottom, which leads us with, what is that, 16 ties total. So we're going to have a little challenge with the inside, being that there's only 7 ties, and I'm using 3 different colors of deco mesh. So I'm going to show you how we're going to solve that dilemma, and hopefully it'll work out to our advantage. So hi Fran from Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Hi Ruby. So if it freezes up, the first thing that you can do, Dawn, is log out of Facebook and log back in. That just sometimes helps determine if it's you or if it's me. So the fact that I'm not seeing any freezing on my end should be okay. Caitlin, picked up my wood burner today. Tried to make a ruffle candy cane last night. I underestimated the amount of fraying that would take place. What do you mean? You shouldn't have had any fraying at all. I'm kind of curious as to why you had any fraying at all. Hi Marsha, hi Tom, hi Karen. So this is just our impromptu stocking cat shop. That's what these will be called, is a stock in the shop. So our goal is to finish strong. It's easy to get overwhelmed, especially if you have a task or goal of a wreath a day, to kind of lose your sense of creativity, but also to lose your drive. It's exhausting to plan everything, make it, list it, market it, but this is our busy season. This is what we wait for all year long. So you've got to finish strong. You have to be in there, putting in the amount of work if you want to get the results that come from it. So for my private group members, tomorrow I am going to teach a class on using some of the new apps to create some visual, interesting posts, so that you can hopefully use these to drive some interest to your Etsy shop or wherever it is that you're selling your products. And I haven't decided on the time yet, but I've had a lot of people ask. You know, they're making great quality products. They've got their shop open, they've got their Facebook business page open, so why no sales? So hopefully we'll come up with some creative solutions to help you with that. And then also later in the week, I'm going to teach you how to generate your Black Friday sale with the marketing that goes along with that this week. So there'll be 2 extra lives and you guys know I don't normally do business classes. So here's how I'm going to solve the problem between red, white, green, and I have the option. It makes logical sense to add a white to the top. So that's exactly what we're doing. We're adding one extra white to the top to kind of help fill the top. Another option would be to I could add an extra pipe cleaner and then stay in the even numbers. But if you really want red, white, and green, you have to do something with your Deco mesh to either find Deco mesh that has the red, white, and green in it, or come up with a solution like I have now. So again, as we come down, this being green, this being white, there's a pipe cleaner right below that. We're going to come in with red because that only makes sense. I try really hard to break up my color combinations so that you don't see color next to color. Carrie, the private group is $17 a month, and what it does is throughout the year, basically January through August, we do 4 additional tutorials for the design part, and it's going to be changing up quite a bit this year. So it's actually going to be moving into something called the Design Academy, because I want to teach you guys all the basics of design, from what you have in your shop, what color theory, ribbon theory, how to make sure your designs are visually appealing without going overboard. So we're really going to change up the private group starting in January. I just haven't put all the logistics in place yet, but it should be really super fun. So generally January through August is 4 tutorials plus business classes. So everything you ever wanted to know about taking your hobby and turning it into a business. I teach you everything from business name, selecting the correct business name, opening your Facebook business page, opening your Etsy shop, everything from using social media to drive marketing into your shop, which is all free for you guys, because social media is free. We have Facebook, we have Instagram, we have Pinterest, and then there's a host of others that I'm just not into, like Snapchat and TikTok and all that stuff. But because those apps currently right now are readily available and they are free to use, we want to take advantage of those to drive additional business into our shops. So let me make sure I brought the red down. That broke up the red and green. And then red, white, green. I think it's just going to have to go with what we go through. But if you're interested in signing up, Carrie, just go to my website, which is Cats Creations, the letter N, the word more.com. And then if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, you'll actually get to the member information. And there's 2 steps. One is to sign up for the payment portion, and the second is to request to join the private Facebook group. And then right now, through the end of the year, we're just doing tutorials, but a lot of people are struggling, so I just thought I would throw an additional couple business classes in during the week. Hopefully that answers it. Hi Brenda, hi Regina, hi Deborah, hi Mary from Montana. Been watching me on YouTube, so this is your first live with me. Well, welcome and thank you for joining. Is it cold in Montana? I have some family members that are thinking about moving to Montana, and probably the Billings, Montana area. April, did you do a video on the nativity wreath? This one behind me? Yeah, it's what we did in our private group last night. So I taught them how to go ahead and make this. So this was our Monday private group tutorial. So, and then Friday, I think we're gonna do something a little different. I have 2 different design options, so I might put it out there to a vote to go red and white candy cane, like peppermint, that whole kind of thing. Ooh, I missed this. I need to bring it over one more. I missed my pipe cleaner. Or we're gonna do silver, white, and royal blue. Like a really deep, really super pretty blue. Not royal blue, but somewhere between royal blue and navy. Like a ice blue, if that makes sense. Patty got my winter mystery box today. So would like to see something using 21-inch red mesh. Those are easy. So maybe if we do the candy cane kind of themed idea I'm thinking about, or the ice blue one or the other. We'll do both of them, but not both on the same day. But we will get to them. Let's see. Caitlin, I keep getting people on my Facebook business page asking for my website. I don't have one. Is it worth getting one? Honestly, I've made in the last year 2 sales on my website, but I'm driving all of my traffic to Etsy right now, just because it's easier for me to go in and manage Etsy from the app than it is to go into Shopify. But I do have my Shopify site, and that's the catscreationsandmore.com. It's $29 a month. So if you're not going to make a ton of sales off of it right now, I don't necessarily see that it's worth it. That makes sense. But it's entirely up to you. You definitely have the option to do that. Hi, Michelle. Oh, Misty, you said it's snowing on and off. Where are you at? Okay, you said your aunt lived in Victorville. You lived in San Bernardino, so you know right where we're at. Most people don't know where Victorville is. When they ask, everyone knows where LA is, or all like Hollywood and stuff like that. But when we say Victorville, nobody knows. So we usually have to say, on the way to Vegas is where Victorville is. It's probably one of the biggest towns you will pass before you enter into the desert area on your way to Vegas. So we're kind of like the rest stop between the two. But we were also the first city to get our first Cracker Barrel. So we have that going for us, right? And let's see how many I have left. I have a couple more. So I'm trying to break up all the red, green, white. Let me flip this. Dawn, that is a great comparison. Comparing it to the Heart of the Ocean blue from Titanic. Yeah, exactly. Rose's necklace would be exactly that. I showed it to my daughter last night and she loved it. So hopefully that doesn't mean that she's changing her mind about the wreath that she's going to put on her door this year. Usually that's what they mean. When they see something mom made and they like it, they want to all of a sudden change their decor. But I don't blame them. I like changing up mine too. So we're gonna break some of that up. And so we have red, white, and green, and I think we have 2 more. I cut way too many red. I don't know why, I wasn't thinking. I just started cutting. That's what happens when you have no real plan. You just start cutting. You're listening to the music, and you just start cutting. All of these have been cut with a wood burning tool, by the way. So it means no frays, or very little flurries, I should say. So as long as I'm not pulling on threads, that's usually the way to get frays when you shouldn't have them, is usually you find a loose thread or a loose piece of mesh and you go to grab it and pull it, and then it all frays because it broke that seal. Is Etsy cost a lot to have your wreaths in? So, Tom, no, it doesn't. I mean, I think Etsy is probably one of the most affordable places to open up a shop. It's a really good place to decide because you're not committed to anything. So once you open up an Etsy shop, if you don't sell anything, you can just close your shop. It costs 20 cents to list an item, and then it's about 8.5% of your total sale with shipping included that Etsy takes as their portion. So it's a little lower than eBay. It is lower than Amazon homemade or handmade. So it's just up to you what you want, what you're looking for. That's where I went initially to decide whether or not I had enough to make this a business or not. So there is our base mesh for now. So what we are going to do, and it's actually fairly thin, but don't forget we're coming in with ribbons. We're coming in with bows. So that's gonna thicken everything up. So that's what I always tell people when they're not sure. They're like, wow, I can still see my frame. And I'm like, but are you gonna add ribbon? Are you gonna add embellishments? Are you adding a sign, some bows? That will take up some space as well. So the sign came to us from Craft Outlet. Had to think about it. Now Craft Outlet came out with two versions of this sign. One is made out of tin and the other is made out of, I guess it would be called the MDF. So the tin ones are completely sold out for the season, so you will not be able to get them for Christmas. But the MDF version of it is available, and they're still as nice. I like it because it holds true to the traditional Christmas look. So let's go ahead and prep our sign, which is, you can leave this on. You can kind of just tuck it behind while you add your pipe cleaners to secure it. That way if the customer wants to take the sign off, they can, and then they'd still have a sign, but I think that's kind of pretty plain. We are going to use red pipe cleaners. Because the MDF is 1/4 inch or more, we can staple this to our sign. So we're actually going to staple to the side. So let's go ahead and add this. And then we'll twist. I always have to remember. I keep wanting to move stuff out of the way. Because when you're creating it at home, everything that I've finished using just goes into the basket and I get it off the counter. Okay. Oop, there's one down. There we go. Now we've got it, and I'm just going to go ahead. You have the option. Sometimes I don't like to leave it. We'll see how it stands up, but I think what I want it to do is kind of sit at a diagonal and then have a really nice bow right here. And then I always like to hang my signs diagonally. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to create the bow first, because if I attach my sign now, most likely I'm going to end up having to move my sign because either my ribbon tails hang down and they get in the way of the sign, or the bow loops are in the way and it kind of covers up like maybe the M. Even though you can kind of push them back, it looks better to kind of have a good sign placement. So we're going to go ahead and make our bow first, but this is all ready. Jillian says, what if you have an 18-inch wreath that has 4 rings? Do you add pipe cleaners to the inner and outer rings still? What I generally do, I think the 18-inch, they're closer together on the rails than they would be if they were the 14-inch. So I still do the inner and outer, and I try to space them about 3 to 4 inches apart. So sometimes that might mean that your pipe cleaners go on the weld, which is still perfect because they're not going to move, instead of like, because the sections are smaller and then the wreath rails are shorter. So you can still utilize that theory. And I think I have a video in YouTube that talks about wreath making basics, and I go over all the frames and how to utilize those for wreath making. So that might benefit you. Okay, always the challenge, picking the designs. Let's see, I am kind of leaning towards those two. And then let me look at how these other ones are going to kind of play into this. So, not sure if I want to add the hollow to the outside or the diagonal. And change. Sometimes it's just changing the positions. It's easier to figure this out now than to go ahead and build it and pull it all apart. So I think I liked it the other way, like this, but break up the colors. So I think that's how it's going to flow. So this will be our base, then one up, the third, fourth, fifth, and then we'll finish with the diagonal, which should make for a interesting design choice. Oh, awesome, Dawn. Thank you for sending people to join us. Okay, so I use the Bodabra. It's just easy. This is going on, I want to say, this will be going on my 3rd year. So I started with the Bodabra, and the only reason I started with the Bodabra is because when you start off, everything is going to be about cost. So the Bodabra, and probably I think the Easy Bow Maker, I'm not sure what the cost price is on that. I didn't go to that one. This one looked easier to use. So $15.99 I think is what it averages. You can buy them on Amazon, you can buy them at Walmart, Joann's, Hobby Lobby, Craft Outlet. At Hobby Lobby, you can apply the 40% off coupon and bring that down to like $7 or $8. And that makes it really affordable until you get into the habit of you're generating some money and now you can add a pro bow or add additional bow makers. So this one just became my go-to in everything that I did. So we are going to dovetail our ends first, which is taking the wired edges together. And then we're going to cut from the folded side right to our point, just like that. And this gives you a really super pretty dovetail cut instead of trying to cut up and cut down. That should, let me make sure we're still good on that. Okay, I got my phone that came back. This is what happens when your daughter calls. Okay, so we're doing 10-inch tails, which is generally my standard. It's what I did on these bows here. So looking at the bow dimension, if that's the width and size you want, you're going to want to start your base bow at 10-inch tails with about 5.5-inch loops. It depends. Hi, Caitlin. Dawn, all of my ribbons. Oh, it's okay, Kate. Like I said, you didn't know I go live. So most of them came as I take them. I'll reintroduce you or walk you through where they came. This one came from Craft Outlet, but you can pretty much find this ribbon just about anywhere. I know Hobby Lobby has jumbo rolls of this. So I'm doing 5.5-inch loops. So let's go ahead and pull this one out. And then we'll do our dovetail. And it was interesting when we did the one on the door behind me, it didn't start off with a 2 bow. It's just the sign looked so vacant by itself. And actually, it's supposed to hang like so. I didn't realize that when I was putting it up. I'm like, wait a minute, we did upper left, lower right. So you can hang it up either way. Either way looks good. You got your bow dabber for super, super cheap, like $3. Good job, Chris. It's always good if you can find a way to take advantage of, and I'm thinking Black Friday sales are going to be huge for a lot of wreath makers. All the tools you probably ever wanted to purchase, like bow dabbers, pro bows, those are all going to be great deals, hopefully. Don't know for a fact if it will. So this ribbon came from Lowe's. So don't count a lot of these places out now. I know Target started selling ribbon. Who else? Somebody else. I know Walmart sells it. But you've got to watch your price. You've got to know where your price point is in your bows, because you really don't want to pay $10 for a roll of less than 30 feet of ribbon. That's not a deal. So just be patient and wait, unless it's a color you absolutely love, because if you wait till December thinking that bow or ribbon will be there, most likely it'll be sold out. I know our Hobby Lobby will be completely out of all of their Christmas inventory by the first week of December. I kid you not. So if you love it, pick it up now. So those two are done. Let's see. Our Joanne stopped carrying the bow dabber. That's interesting, Brenda. Let's see, Old Time Pottery has ribbon too. Yes. You guys on the East Coast, you have access to vendors we don't have here on the West Coast. You have AC Moore. If AC Moore is still available, I know that there was a rumor that they were going out of business, but I'm not sure. I'm not a East Coast fan. There's a lot of online stores now. A lot of people are selling ribbons and supplies. So unlike last year, where it was a run on supplies and everybody was out of supplies, this is, let me just think, 9-inch tails, and this is going to be 5-inch loops. So the bottom ones are 5.5. So let's make sure. 5 just seems like such a stretch for that ribbon because it's so thin. Let's see. Maybe we'll go 4.5 because I just don't like using thin ribbon to make super huge loops unless it's got really good strength in the ribbon. So we'll take those at 4.5. And where was I talking? Talking about something. What were we talking about? Oh, places where you guys can buy supplies. So like Deco Exchange is huge. Trendy Tree, they're all online places, so they're all going to have their own, what do you call it, minimums. Things that you have to purchase in order to get free shipping. So don't excuse those if some of the other places don't carry what you have. Reach out and look at those places. A lot of sign vendors are now carrying ribbon and deco mesh. So when in doubt, just reach out and ask somebody, hey, where'd you get that? Or if you're like us in our community group, we have such great community group members that we help one another out. For example, if somebody's stuck with, I can't find this last roll of ribbon I need at Hobby Lobby, having a huge resource of people available all over, somebody is bound to be able to go to their Hobby Lobby and hopefully find it for you. So this is Costco ribbon. The red lame came from Craft Outlet. And we're down to 8.5-inch tails. And I kept it at 4.5-inch loop with the red lame, just keeping them the same. We shall see if one bow works or not, and then we might have to open it up and do more than one. So this green came from Hobby Lobby, and it's weird because it looks like it's wrinkled, but that's just the way the ribbon's supposed to be. It looks like it kind of shrunk. So it's just got a different texture and a different look. Let's see, 10, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're at 8-inch loops, or 8-inch tails now. And this time we're going to go down to, let's look and see what looks good. I want to say 3.5. Yeah, I'll go 3.5. So this is a definite must-have for traditional Christmas lovers. I didn't even list this on my shop before I went live, which is odd for me to do. Normally I have them listed, but I'll list it after. So Walmart sells bow dabbers around $13. Dawn, that's interesting. Yeah, Teresa, that's another one. Christmas tree shop. You guys have access to the Christmas tree shop. So definitely look there. Cracker Barrel has Christmas ribbon and signs. I'm trying to think of any other ones that I've popped into. I try to share them when I find them. So she said that Christmas ribbon at Christmas tree shop is only $1.99 a roll. That's good. You just need to figure out how much is on a roll. And don't forget Sam's Club, Costco. So this is 7.5 for our final one. And then we're just going to follow the same 3.5-inch loop that we did with the green lame. And this was Sam's Club from last year. You can tell I've kind of carved into that one pretty good. Besides, I'm trying to think, Joann's has amazing ribbon this year. Michael's, Hobby Lobby, Walmart. It's just nice to see some other places coming on board. Found out today At Home has ribbon on sale. We don't have At Homes here. We just have Home Goods. And we stopped at the Home Goods the other day and it was pretty depressing. I did not like any of the stuff that was in there. It was easier for me to walk in, turn around, and walk back out. So I'm going to do green pipe cleaner, just in case I have to do two bows for this wreath, because I have 2 green pipe cleaners. And then I just brought 1 red. I didn't bring any white. So we're going to twist this 5 times. 3, 4, 5. We'll bring this back over. And I'm going to grab my pin. And we're going to place this. I like adding it to white. There's a lot of white right here. So let's break up some of that white with a pretty bow. So this is going to go right down to the rail. So remember, this one had the elevated rail that's up a little higher. That's where we're actually attaching our bow to. You don't want to pull it down to the rail because it folds your bows. So you kind of want to float it on top of your Deco mesh. So now we're going to go, trying to position them so that I have it this way. Okay, so we go loop one way, tail the other. So here's my loop. And then on the other side, we're going to go completely opposite. We're going to grab our tail and our loop and pull them in opposite directions. So they're exactly directly across from each other. And then we're going to do the same thing with this one. we are going to loop up or loop down, tail up, and then down here we're doing loop up and tail down. Now the thinner, the more traditional Christmas plaid is kind of thin, so it doesn't have an awful lot of strength to it, whereas this one is a little thicker. So we keep doing the same pattern, bringing our tails up, and we find the other one, opposite directions. There we go. Try to put my finger in the loop because it's easier to pull it. Pull it and fluff at the same time. So now we're going here. Here was our lame. So now we're going to go opposite directions. Just like so. Have these all super pretty. Opposite down here as well. Trying to make sure my tails stay across from one another. Same thing with my loops. So this way we're going to keep bringing them. And the green down here. And we start to get near. I like it when it gets nearer to the end, because then you can kind of see the direction your bow is. And we'll put all those nice arcs back in our ribbon. If you just kind of pull them through your fingers, you can almost refluff them into that really pretty arc. There we go. So let me show you what this looks like. Make sure everything's all fluffed. Okay. There we go. So there is our bow. You guys can see that. And it's almost starting to be just like the other Christmas ribbon, which is telling me that a 16-inch wreath frame, unless you have a super big sign, is probably going to need more than one bow. But let's add our sign and we'll figure that out. We know that we were doing sideways sign. I'm just trying to decide which way I want it to go. Let's see. Bow there. Just move those down so I can kind of see. Kind of liking it like this, but if I do that, let's see. Don't want to cover my sign. Want to make sure it's still able to be read, but I'm thinking like this. Show it to you like that. Or like that. And we might end up needing to put another bow on it. So I'm going to go ahead and add my sign right to the top rail. Hi Maribel. Hi Fran. Hi Brenda. You're still making this style tonight. If you saw all my craft outlet stuff, because I got my craft outlet order in yesterday, so these were in it, and I was like, okay, do I want to save the blue design for Friday? Do I want to do a red and white peppermint wreath? I was like, I really want to get a traditional Christmas one done. So let me think I'm going to do it like this. I'm just trying to make sure my words aren't hidden because this one goes way under. Hi Mary Lou. Okay. So now, of course, you can keep bringing things and refluffing your design. And this is what I'm saying. We can take the loops and kind of put them on either side of the Mary. What do you guys think so far? I think it's gonna need another bow, honestly. Like way down here is what I'm thinking. But there's so much space up here too. Wow. I don't know. It'll be a work in progress and we'll figure it out as we go. So I like to bring some of my mesh that's kind of tucked underneath the sign, kind of bring some of that out so that it frames our sign super pretty. But let's go ahead and let's add the bows to the outside. I'm almost positive it's gonna need another bow, and it's gonna probably have to be down in here. You guys think we should just add another bow? Patricia, you still can't get your bows as nice as yours ready for training. Okay, I agree, Sandy, right? A little bit smaller, is that even possible? Because we said that we were gonna do that on this one and we ended up making it exactly the same size. So let's try it. Let's take it down a little bit. Kind of figured that, which is now telling me that every time I go to pull a 16-inch wreath frame, if your sign is not big enough, meaning if it's narrow, like this was a 5 by 10, this is a, I want to say it's a 6 by 12, you're going to want to bring that down. You're going to either need a bigger, add a second bow. You're going to have to come up with some embellishments. They're going to kind of take up some of that real estate space. So let's try. So, smaller version. There's no such thing as smaller. So we shall see what it ends up coming out to. So I need to make sure. Let's do that. I have it right at 5.5 for this. So sometimes it just makes a nice version to and this is why I don't do co-creates a lot. There's 2 reasons why in my private group we don't do a wreath of the month kind of thing. So let's see if my people know why I don't teach. Occasionally we will, like when we did the angel treetop where everybody brought their supplies, but not everyone made the exact same angel. But my private group members, if you guys know the answer to the question, why don't I teach, like, everyone go out and buy these supplies, and then when you all get those supplies in, we'll schedule create a session and we'll all make the same wreath. I don't do that unless it's just a really simple design like a candy cane or something simple. I know, Kathy, smaller version. In my world, I don't think it exists. So we'll see. We can always, the good thing about the bows is we can always dismantle them and pull things we don't like out of them. That's a good thing, Karen. She says, I never know how much or how many materials I'm going to use until I'm done. That's true. Because on this one, if I would have told you just enough materials to make one bow and then it looked odd, you might come up short. And that's why my group members get their materials list after we're finished, so that if you want to replicate the design, I give you all the item numbers, SKU numbers, measurements. Like on the Deco mesh, it might say 30-inch, what is it? 5 30-inch pieces of green metallic Deco mesh for ruffles, so that you can like that. Kathy says because you don't like to replicate. Well, I don't, but there are some people who are like, I think that's one of the reasons why they join the private group, is they think we're going to do a co-create, and I don't. And it's not so much that I don't like to replicate, which I personally don't, but there's a major reason why I don't. Pat says because everyone designs differently and has different tastes. That's kind of one, but it still doesn't answer the question, why don't I teach everyone how to make this exact wreath ahead of schedule? 9. So still no one has hit the answer to the question. And it's a super logical one, if you think about it. I mean, I'm okay if somebody wants to teach me how to make something in their tutorial, and I want to replicate it exactly or something similar, or I'm just looking to use their techniques. Mary Lou says she's joining on the 1st of December. Oh, awesome. Congratulations. We'd love to have you. So still nobody has answered the elusive, why does Kat not do like a wreath of the month thing? I'm surprised Steve's not on here answering for everyone. Gail. Well, yeah, I'm hoping that everyone's going to make it their own, but why don't I do one that's like a huge everyone co-create? Thank you, Pat, because then everyone is selling the exact same thing. So if everybody was making this exact wreath and there's 200 people all doing the same thing, I have 200 people or 200 of these exact wreaths just suddenly hit Etsy. And then it overloads the Etsy shop with the same design, and then you kind of lose out on your exclusivity, meaning you make designs that nobody else makes. I don't want to teach a class where I'm teaching designs that everybody makes. And it's to help the members to not have a ton of product out there. Like if I sell mine for 90, someone else could sell the exact same wreath for 65. Just because that person is looking to get their materials cost out. So that's why we don't. Is you don't want to flood the market with the exact same product everybody else just made. But I can teach you the techniques, and then you could make the exact same thing and just change out the sign, or maybe you don't like the holly ribbon and you want to add something with white in it. That's where you get your creativity. So 1, 2, 3, 4, we're 8.5. Yep, Gail said it too. Not everybody is selling that on Etsy, and that's exactly it. You don't want to, like, what was it that everybody did one year? I'm trying to remember. There was one design last year that every person made. And I was like, people were asking, well, are you going to teach us how to make that? And I'm like, no, because everybody is making that right now. So let's make something different. So trends are okay. It's just too much competition, all making the same thing. It's just not good business. So that's why. And it's funny because once I explain that to everybody, they're like, okay, that makes sense. I don't want to be competing with all the other people in your private group who all just made the exact same thing. like I said, when we did the angel tree toppers, everybody did their own. Some people just, you know, did the plain white one just for the technique or just because material availability was easier for them. But then afterwards, you got to see beautiful combinations of colors I hadn't even considered making before. And that just helps give everyone a different creative edge, because not everyone's making the exact same one. Oh, what's not a trend right now, Michelle? Why I don't do a co-create on a design like this. Send this out like months ahead of schedule and say, hey, if you guys all want to make this exact same design, here's the materials list for this. And then we just have all the people on Sunday night all learning how to do the exact design. And then everybody's flooding Etsy or their Facebook business page with the exact same design. And then now you're no longer the creative, unique person. You're just one of many. So that's why. Like when we did the, oh, that's what it was last year, I think. Ribbon wrapped candy cane. That was the design that everybody did last year. And it was the one design I actually stayed away from, because when I go and I look at it on Etsy, there were so many different versions. I mean, everyone had different ribbon choices, just kind of making the tails a little shorter. It's the one I stayed away from, because we had some people that were just crazy selling them for like $15 each. And when you know how much ribbon you put into it, there was people that just were pricing good business people out of the marketplace because all they wanted to do is get their materials cost back. They didn't care if they were making a profit or not. So we're gonna add this one right here. Yeah, it does help with individual sales, and that's the thing that I try to instill upon my creatives in my group, is to be that original. You know, even if you want to copy the designs, just make it your own. Throw your own creative thing into it that nobody else thought of. So now I'm going to kind of take some of my Deco mesh right here and push it underneath, and we'll start fluffing this one. This one's going to be a little bit different in that most of our tails are going to kind of go down or to the side, because we can't have them going opposite across our sign. So I'm looking for my tail. Here it is. It is under this one. So this is where you have to kind of just get a little bit creative and come up with a different way, because this isn't going to work here. But we can bring some out to the side, as long as it's not going to impact our sign. So that's the whole thing, is it's got to go this way as we're designing it. And we'll just bring it down to the bottom. Okay. I know right now it looks like it's going to really impact everything, but we're not done yet. Let's see. I might pull this one down too. We'll just keep fluffing and fluffing. Okay. And as we get closer to the top, here it's going to be easier for us to figure out what direction we want our bow to go. Just a couple more pieces. I'm going to take this one up, take this one down. And now we're just fluffing everything. Okay. So hard working with ribbon that does not have an awful lot of strength to it. Like the plaid is very thin, it just wants to lay. Okay, so here is our double bow. Let's see if I can make sure we're holding it correctly. And it's funny because there's still an awful lot up here. But I'm not going to put a bow there because that would definitely impact our sign. But we will definitely add some embellishment. Our ribbon to the outside. So the 2.5 inch pieces that we're using are the plaid, like the harlequin, and then the snowflake. And we're going to be adding those just to the ones on the outside, one in each. The second bow looks good. Thanks, Teresa. Hopefully it'll all come together at the end. So we shall see. So I'm just taking the 2.5 and I fold them in half just so I can find middle. And then what I'm doing is just going around and adding them all to the outside pieces. Not opening the tinsel ties, I'm just laying it right on top. And we'll just go all the way around. So we want to make sure we find all of our 9 on the outside. So that's why we did these in 30s. So, and yes, I add them under the bow. So even though the bow is there, I still add the ribbon tails underneath. And there's so many different ways that you can go with this design. You could add metallic balls. You could add flex tubing. I'm trying to think of what else. You could add all kinds of like green and red berry picks, like holly. Would be a nice way to tie that in. So as you can see, as we're coming around the outside, let me pull it back so you can kind of see what that looks like when we're adding it to the outside. We're just going through and adding some. Because I don't want to be so ribbon crazy that we cover up everything that we've already, you know, put together as far as the design goes. Shipping boxes, Mary Lou. Yes, I get them on Amazon. So I can post a link to the different size shipping boxes that I use from Amazon. Those are definitely something you want to make sure, even for, as we're nearing Black Friday, do a count on your boxes. Make sure you have enough boxes to ship your items, because it generally takes 10 days to get your boxes in. Okay, I'm trying to find the one underneath my bow. So make sure you are stocked up. Nothing like having your order constantly in your face, reminding you haven't shipped it out yet, because you're waiting on boxes. It takes a while. Okay. 2 more, and then we can add some more, and then we can embellish. My favorite part. 1 ruffle per tie. Yes, Maribel. So it's just one colored 30-inch piece. So I just did 1 red, 1 white, 1 green. I didn't do like double up. Like on the one behind me, it's actually double ruffled. So it has a white iridescent with a true like gold on top of it. Caitlin, you had to make your own boxes? What do you mean? Like you're going into like Home Depot or Lowe's and buying them on the big size and then having to cut them down? That's not fun. It's so much nicer when they just, you know, you can assemble a box, put your product in, and then you're good to go. Okay, on the 1.5 inch, we're doing the diagonal, the red lame, and then the green, and these are cut to 16-inch pieces. The 2.5 was all cut to 14-inch pieces. So I'm going to take this plaid and add this to our, it's like a harlequin. Still haven't come up with a name for it. It's just on a diagonal. Oh, you're so So you always have the option to cut your tinsel ties off. You could come back in, since these are red tinsel ties, you can come back in and add red, green, and white, or gold, green, and white scatters and fillers, the little styrofoam balls to those. I'm going to add the green to the plaid. And I'm just doing what's called half bows. All they are is 2-inch loops, and that's measuring it from the point at which it goes in to the Deco mesh to the point in which it comes out. Let me show you what those look like. Kind of right here. So these are called half bows. So it just kind of has a loop, and then you have your tails. So it kind of complements the ribbon that is below it. So you just don't see the red tinsel tie. So here is my 2-inch loop. If you put it on the board, it is exactly 2 inches from the loop to the pinch part. And then this is going on top of our snowflake. And then we'll do the same thing all the way around. So 16-inch pieces are give you just enough to where you can see the 2.5 inch below it. There we go. Sometimes everything clings to Deco mesh. I agree, Caitlin. It's so much easier just to have the right size boxes. I had my kids here last night helping me box stuff up, and I know by looking at the item exactly what size box it goes in. And they were like, well, can we box up stuff for you while you're doing your live? I'm like, no, I'm pretty crazy when it comes to quality control on my items. I want to make sure that I look at the wreath before it goes out, that it's packaged as good as it can be for its journey, never knowing how it will pop out on the other side. It's so funny because I'm like sitting here looking at live, on my live, and I only see, I'm wondering if I'm catching everybody's comments or just some. Because it's weird, I'll see something come up on my phone and then I look to my tablet to see if I see the comment and I'm not seeing it. Okay. I think this will be the last week we have high temperatures. I'm hoping. I'm so praying. You should see me when dark clouds roll in. I'm outside having a one-on-one with God, saying, Lord, please, we need to have our okay, hang on a second. I'm looking at my color combos. So diagonal, okay, red, diagonal, green. Oh, this is supposed to be, I was like, I'm one short. Wrong ribbon. It needed to be red. And I think I just jettisoned my red. I think I just pushed it over right off the board. Hang tight. Yep. Here are my other two. That's the thing about working with your wreaths, is that you push stuff to the outside. So green, red. Now it matches. Now it makes sense. Oh, thanks, Patty. Because I would just be sitting here doing this by myself anyway. But I figured I can show you another design. I can't wait. Hopefully, if you guys come back and share with me what you guys did on your traditional wreath, I'd love to see them. So feel free to go over to the Couch Creations page and post your design. If you're selling it, let people know where they can get it if they like it. Linda, I do not cover up the back of my wreaths. Like this one, it just gives the customer two options on which they can hang. They can hang it on the inner wreath or the inner ring or the outer ring. So it's their preference how they want to display it. So no, I don't cover them. I never have. And then some of the designs, like the Christmas trees, are on the Unique in the Creek board, so there's nothing really to cover up because you only see the back of that board. Gail, you're doing 3 days of crafting? Wow. Steve would not be happy if I crafted on Saturday. He looks forward to us doing non-crafting activities. So this last Saturday I took him clothes shopping for Boston. And then we just happened to be in the same area where there was craft stores. But sadly they didn't have anything I needed. Okay, so now I'm looking at those interior ones and seeing how many ties am I potentially looking at. There's this one and this one. And this one's kind of under, but we'll look at this one too. Okay, so I'm going to show you the embellishments that I brought out. I went, it's not dumpster diving, it's more like tote bin diving. I have a giant, I want to say it's 2.5 feet tall, 4 feet long, by 2 feet wide, and I just have ornaments, the shatterproof ornaments, all in there. So I just randomly kind of went into that thing and pulled out a wide variety of different ornaments that we can add. And I'm just looking at colors and placement for these. I want one over here. Let's see. Let's break this up. Let me look. I like the green one where the green one was. Take a look. Not sure I like that one there. This one I think needs to come down closer to the sign. Let's look at some white in with the green. Almost gonna make me think I need to go out and look some more at some other colors. Sometimes it's nice to mix them. And I'm thinking I might need another red one. Let's look. I think I might want it this way. I think I want it this way. So I'm gonna show you what I like. So let's just double check this one. Sometimes I just like looking at the patterns on the ornaments, but I'm thinking I like the red. So I'm gonna show you what I liked. These all have to get added, but sometimes it's just nice if you can do them in a combo, like these ones and this one. So let me show you. Hopefully they won't tip over. What that looks like. The white one might bail on us like that. Caitlin, right? The 55-gallon totes. Okay, I'm going to commit to this design. What that means is I'm breaking out the glue gun. So I always pull my tops off my ornaments, because sometimes you can wire them in with the tops on, but sometimes where you've wired them, like you've had these wired down in your tinsel ties, and then just for whatever reason they loosen up, and then your end stays in your wreath, and your ornament falls out. So we're going to do these ones like this. So I'm trying to get them to stay snug in there until the glue dries. So we'll add our white one. And I might come back in and add just some little red balls. I just didn't bring them. I didn't think I would go small. And then we'll take this one out. So this is why when you go to Big Lots, Target, Joann's, and they have those big, huge containers full of shatterproof ornaments, pick them up because they can become embellishments to your designs. And you'll be unhappy that you didn't pick them up. So at least if you're going to do a lot of traditional, you know, pick up one of those 100 ornament packs that have white, red, green, maybe some gold. And then that's way, if especially if they have like some are matte, some are glitter, some are shiny. Those just make it to where you have a lot of options available to you for your ornaments. So we're going to add our red, and then we'll come back with our other piece. And I use Gorilla Glue for my hot glue gun. So set that one there. Oop, that one just came. Well, the plastic part on the top just kind of shattered. So, still okay, because we only need the ball part. So let's give that a minute to set up. So this way I don't pull them up. Yeah, because I'm wanting some small little ornaments for the center of my bow. So move those. Those look like they set up okay. And everything is good. Okay, let's put it on the door and see what we think. See, like I use little ones for the insides. I just didn't bring that package in. It was in here yesterday and I moved it to the outside. I was cleaning and organizing. Okay, let's see. So let's go in and fluff a few things. Because you need to do that for your photos anyway. Do this. It's like a Christmas tree branch. You've got to touch all your pieces and make sure you don't have curls on the ends. And that everything's really pretty and there's no glue threads going through your design. Just like that one. Okay. Pink. What do you guys think? Where do you store all your wreaths until they sell? Cindy, great question. I have a 4-bedroom house. There's only 2 of us living in here. So I can't do it in Steve's office. I actually had occupied his office space for a while. But in my craft room, they're all along the walls. In our guest bedroom, which is now our Christmas room, it's where all the Christmas wreaths are stored. So they're up on the wall. They kind of like add to the ambiance of the room. And they're just all over the house. They're positioned wherever, so they look like they're part of the decor. And then I have some that are seasonal. Obviously, you never know what's seasonal anymore because I just sold a Valentine's Day wreath the other day. So I have some that are stored in our garage, and I can store 30 on a rod that Steve installed for me in the garage. But they generally go up on the wall until they're sold. And then I just backfill their spaces in our house. So this is our busy time. So there'll be a lot more wreaths in our house from August through the 2nd week in December. And then everything will either get stored for the season, if I still have it, or we just kind of slow down our production from January on. So hopefully that helps. Awesome. So, okay, you guys will like this. So don't forget, private group people, tomorrow I'm going to do a class showing you a couple apps that you can add to your phone that'll make your post a little more colorful, I guess is the word. So it's not just a static post that says, hey, here's my wreath, I'm selling it, but some different ideas of how to mix it up on a marketing perspective and use those apps because they're all free. And then you can schedule, I'll teach you how to schedule your posts so that you're hitting the prime times for when people are looking. And if you think about it, when do you go on Pinterest? When do you look for ideas? If you're looking at lunchtime, you're looking just before dinner or sometimes after dinner or just before bed, then you want to be marketing to the same people like yourself to show them ideas. Show them how simple it is to get a wreath that nobody else has. They don't have to worry like if their neighbor went to Costco and they bought the Costco wreath for this year. These are all different. So they're all customized. They're all kind of personalized for individuals. So that's it. And then on Thursday, I don't know if I'm going to have time to do one, but I might do one in the morning. Although I might do one tomorrow too. So join me because I have to be making them every single day. So if I'm putting together a design, I'll make sure I come on online. I just don't know when. And I'll share the designs with you guys. So if you guys don't have any further questions, I will let you go for the evening. Thanks for joining me, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks.